I'm Jake Morrison, a 34-year-old Army Corps of Engineers veteran and third-generation owner of 47 acres of Texas land just outside Austin. My grandfather, Pops, bought this land in 1955 when Austin was a sleepy college town. Back then, barbecue joints outnumbered tech startups, and Pops built a small earth dam in 1978 to manage rainwater for cattle and help downstream neighbors during dry spells. The Army Corps helped design it, ensuring it was solid. Pops always said the back 40 acres would be worth something someday, but to me, it was rolling hills where I learned to hunt and love the land. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan, specializing in water management and infrastructure. Those years taught me the value of clean water and how fiercely people fight over it. While I was deployed, Pops passed away, and the property went into a trust managed by my sister, Sarah, in California. She's great but clueless about Texas land law. She hired Lone Star Land Services to handle taxes and upkeep, assuming everything was fine. Big mistake. Enter Margaret Maggie Thornwell, 52, president of Willowbrook Estates HOA. Maggie's the kind of woman who drives a white BMW X7, wears tennis outfits like they're a personality, and wields passive-aggressive charm like a weapon. Married to City Councilman Rick Thornwell, she's got connections and a knack for neighborhood beautification, which really means forcing out anyone who doesn't fit her suburban vision. While I was overseas, Maggie and her HOA saw my family's land as an opportunity. I returned in August 2023, expecting to see Pop's pastures and that dam sparkling under the Texas sun. Instead, I found construction crews, concrete trucks, and survey stakes across my back 40. Willowbrook Estates was rising on my land, and the foreman shrugged, saying they had permits. The police confirmed the HOA had filed an adverse possession claim, exploiting an old law that lets you claim abandoned land if you've improved it. Maggie rolled up in her golf cart, all syrupy smiles, saying my family had abandoned the land and they were putting it to better use. What burned me most was their diversion of Willow Creek, which fed Pop's Dam. The water level was dropping daily, undoing 45 years of careful management that had sustained neighbors through droughts and floods. Maggie's parting shot, "You should have stayed closer to home, soldier boy," made it clear, this was war. I hired an attorney, but his $85,000 quote to challenge the zoning change was a dead end. Rick had fast-tracked an emergency zoning shift from agricultural to residential while I was deployed, a blatant conflict of interest. So, I leaned on my Army Corps training, digging through county records like I was hunting IEDs in Afghanistan. That's when I found gold, Pop's 1978 dam permits, built with Army Corps guidance, placing it under federal jurisdiction. HOAs can't override that. Then, buried in dusty files, I uncovered a 1923 water rights deed. My great-grandfather owned senior water rights to Willow Creek, older than the city, the county, or those McMansions. They weren't just stealing my land, they were stealing my water. Maggie played dirty, staging an HOA meeting about my dangerous dam, complete with a news crew she'd tipped off. She cried about children's safety on TV, claiming the dam was a hazard, despite its recent safety inspection. On Nextdoor, she posted vague warnings about unstable individuals, clearly targeting me. Every night, I watched construction crews pour foundations, racing to finish before I could act. The dam's water level dropped another inch daily, and Maggie's harassment escalated. HOA safety patrols photographed my visitors, and Rick ordered a veteran wellness check, painting me as a troubled soldier. But I wasn't alone. My Army buddy Tony Riggs, now with the EPA, confirmed the creek diversion violated the Clean Water Act. I set up trail cameras, documented water flow, and calculated the theft. 1,200 gallons daily, worth $47,000 annually in agricultural rights. The fight wasn't just about land anymore, it was about justice. The battle for Willow Creek intensified as Maggie Thornwell ramped up her campaign. Her HOA's construction crews worked double shifts, pouring concrete to lock in their illegal development. Meanwhile, I built a coalition. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, whose family garden withered without creek water, shared photos of its vibrant past. Miguel Santos, whose farm was rezoned out of existence by Rick Thornwell, brought historical records proving his family's century-long reliance on the creek. Online forums revealed Maggie's pattern. Her HOA had absorbed 6 properties through similar tactics: harassment, zoning tricks, and bureaucratic warfare. Maggie's next move was a coordinated assault. A building inspector, fire marshal, health department, and animal control hit my property in one day, citing minor violations like my unsightly 1962 farmhouse. Rick ordered a $8,000 porch repair, a clear squeeze play to bankrupt me. Then, Maggie's neighborhood safety patrol, 3 HOA members in polo shirts, set up a checkpoint at my property, logging visitors and filing suspicious activity reports. The lowest blow. Rick used his counsel position to order a veteran wellness check, implying I was a danger to myself. The social worker was kind but thorough, checking boxes while Maggie watched from her golf cart. I fought back with precision. My research uncovered Maggie's past. Her Houston HOA paid a $2.3 million EPA fine for a similar creek diversion scheme. She'd fled to Austin, targeting new victims. I also learned her development sat in a 100-year floodplain, and their flood mitigation plan, diverting the creek, voided their insurance. Lying about flood risks to secure coverage? That's federal mail fraud, with criminal penalties. My drone mapped the new home's foundations, revealing 5 built in the historic flood channel and 3 with basements below the waterline. Their decorative creek beds weren't built for real water flow, unlike Pop's spillway, designed for flood control. The game changer came during a midnight reconnaissance. Pop's dam had an emergency spillway with hydraulic gates, unused since 1982 but still functional. My tests confirmed it could restore the creek's natural flow, 2.8 million gallons, just under the dam's 3.1 million capacity. Heavy September rains were forecast, perfect cover for emergency maintenance. A misfiled 1978 covenant sealed it. I was legally obligated to maintain seasonal flooding for downstream agriculture, trumping HOA claims. Maggie escalated, installing concrete barriers to block the creek permanently, destroying the downstream ecosystem. This gave me legal justification to act. I teamed up with environmental lawyer Amanda Cross, who filed pro bono water rights complaints. We allied with downstream farmers, the Audubon Society, and the Sierra Club, who confirmed the diversion killed protected Guadalupe base and bird habitats. Amanda uncovered the HOA's insurance fraud. They'd claimed no flood risk to secure $47 million in coverage. Rick, the primary investor, never recused himself from council votes benefiting his company. As the eminent domain hearing loomed, Maggie offered $180,000 for my $890,000 property. Her media blitz painted me as a troubled veteran, blocking progress, with staged photos of worried mothers near my menacing farmhouse. But my team was ready. Tony Riggs moved the EPA inspection up, Amanda filed fraud complaints, and Miguel rallied farmers. I prepared the spillway, posting warnings and notifying the fire department. Mrs. Chen's gossip network and Miguel's cousin at the diner fed us intel on HOA moves. My Fort Hood buddy provided drone surveillance. Maggie's desperation peaked. Her private security, tactical gear wannabes, tried sabotaging the spillway with concrete mix at 2 a.m. My trail cameras caught them, and Deputy Rodriguez made arrests. Maggie's TV appearance, crying about my water weapon, backfired when Amanda's recordings exposed Rick's corruption. The Texas Insurance Commission froze the HOA's policies, halting construction. As federal agents arrived, I stood at the spillway controls, Pop's journal in hand, ready to restore the creek. The fight wasn't about revenge, it was about honoring a legacy and protecting a community. At 7:02 a.m., with federal agents watching and the sky glowing orange, I opened the spillway gates to 25% capacity. The sound was a gentle whisper, not destruction, water returning to Willow Creek's original bed. Miguel Santos knelt, cupping the clear water, tears streaming as he said, "This fed my grandfather's farm for 60 years. Maggie screamed at the EPA agents, calling me a terrorist, but Agent Sarah Kim calmly noted my legal right to operate the dam. Local news helicopters captured the scene, and the narrative shifted from veteran floods neighborhood to community reclaims water. My engineering was spot on. The water stayed within natural banks, restoring downstream farms without flooding homes. Amanda Cross presented the 1978 covenant in court, proving my obligation to maintain seasonal flooding. EPA's Tony Riggs testified that the HOA violated 3 federal environmental laws, committed insurance fraud, and killed protected wildlife. Historical photos showed the creek's natural flow, matching my spillway release. Maggie's Houston past, $2.3 million in EPA fines, sealed her fate. Rick's recorded outburst about property values exposed his corruption. In Judge Walsh's packed courtroom, Maggie's high-powered lawyers claimed $2.7 million in flood damage, with a psychiatrist diagnosing me with combat revenge fantasies based on clippings. But Amanda's evidence, Pop's journals, farmer testimonies, and EPA data crushed their case. Miguel spoke of his family's lost farm. Mrs. Chen showed her withered garden. Fire Chief Martinez confirmed my operation's safety. Walsh, cornered by federal scrutiny, denied the HOA's restraining order, ruled my actions legal, and warned Rick against obstructing justice. The fallout was swift. Rick pleaded guilty to federal conspiracy, getting 3 years. Maggie faced $8.7 million in penalties and bankruptcy. The construction company paid $12 million in EPA fines and lost federal contracts. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a community association focused on stewardship. My property's value hit $1.2 million with its environmental designation. I used a $340,000 insurance settlement to buy Miguel's farm at auction and return it to him debt-free. The creek's restoration transformed the community. Ecotourism boomed with kayaking, birdwatching, and fishing. Mrs. Chen's garden became a sustainable agriculture site, and downstream farms saw record yields. The Guadalupe base population recovered, and the Audubon Society documented 12 returning bird species. Texas Parks and Wildlife designated the creek a protected corridor. My spillway operation became an Army Corps case study. Personally, I found peace renovating Pop's farmhouse sustainably. Sarah moved back to help run our agritourism business, and Amanda and I grew close fighting environmental crime. The Willow Creek model inspired statewide water rights lawsuits, with 147 families across 3 states following suit. We established the Pops Morrison Environmental Scholarship, and Miguel's daughter Maria now studies environmental engineering at UT Austin. The Willow Creek Conservation Trust now protects the watershed forever, preventing future development. Every Sunday, I bring creek water to Pop's grave, thanking him for the legacy that saved our community. The Creek Days Festival celebrates resilience, raising funds for a water rights defense fund that's helped 6 other communities. Kids now swim in the creek where McMansions were planned, splashing in water that flows free because we fought together. If you're battling HOA overreach or environmental theft, document everything, find allies, and know the law is on your side when protecting the land. Share your HOA nightmare below. I read every comment. Justice flows like water finding its way home. Next week, I'll share how my neighbor cut power to City Hall during the mayor's wedding to save her solar farm. Willow Creek flows free, y'all, and it always will.